Red Roses, 3 from 3. And yes, these girls always have plenty of fun. Thanks to Georgina Davey for that beautiful rendition of the Cyndi Lauper classic. Now, following a fallow week with some glorious weather here in the UK, England have followed the sun to Parma in northern Italy, a city known for its culinary delicacies, including cheese and ham. All around the Stadio Sergio Lanfranchi, fans have been enjoying life the Italian way ahead of kick-off, which comes your way in just under 30 minutes. The England coaching team would have been frustrated after conceding 4 tries against Wales, but that victory in Bristol in round 3 extended their winning run to 36. John Mitchell's record as England head coach now reads 26 from 26. Italy have got progressively closer to England over their most recent Women's Six Nations encounters, losing by a margin of 74, 63, 48 and 33 points respectively in their matches between 2022 and 2025. Could they get even closer in 2026? In their previous 3 head-to-head meetings at this venue, Italy have scored a total of 3 points. England have scored 189. Well, here's how the table looks going into this 4th round. England lead the way, separated only on points difference to France. Italy lying 3rd following that big win against Scotland. Scotland and Ireland close behind. Wales still looking for a win, though, but they did score those 4 tries and secure a bonus point against England last time out. Scotland take on France later today, with Wales facing Ireland in Belfast this evening. And as ever, you can watch both those matches on the BBC and on BBC iPlayer. Afternoon. Now, there's 3 of us in this studio, 2 of whom have won a Rugby World Cup, and I will leave it to you to figure out which pair, as I'm joined by Zoe Strafford and Ruby Tui. Welcome to you both. Now, Zoe, England, a dozen players missing at the minute, including your good self, either through injury or pregnancy. But how much has this been a big opportunity for John Mitchell to test England's famed strength in depth?
I think it's been a massive opportunity to test the development of young players coming through, and I think it's an absolute credit to the pathway in England, but also to the PWL, where the young talent are getting to train and play next to seasoned internationals every week, and then coming into that environment of the Red Roses and being able to be themselves and to flourish is absolutely fantastic, and credit to the environment that the Red Roses have built, but also to the coaching staff that they can allow those players to get out on the weekend and perform like they have been doing.
Now, Ruby, Italy lost their opening 2 matches and then, boom, they stuck 40 points on Scotland. How much will they be buoyed by that result going into this one?
Oh, absolutely. Their last round was amazing. And speaking of opportunity, as I just mentioned, I'd like to play the English Red Roses after 12 injuries as well, you know. So last round, they were 29-0 up against Scotland. Scotland are not a bad team. They had 6 turnovers in the first 30 minutes. I think, you know, discipline for both teams actually will be an issue, because Italy, unfortunately, in that second half, not 1, not 2, but 3 yellow cards, you know, which really made the second half. Scotland ended up winning the second half 14-12. So Italy are absolutely revved up, ready for this. It's in Parma, you know, and yeah, opportunity for the next gen Red Roses, but also this first half, I think Italy are going to come out absolutely furious.
Yeah. Now we're going to talk balls. I should be clear about this. Rugby balls. This story has been talked about all week, that there is a trial going on, that ball, which is a size 5, they want to make it for the women's game, World Rugby, slightly smaller and slightly lighter. Tell us about it, Ruby.
Yeah, so basically, World Rugby, this is a size 5 ball. They want to trial for the women's game a size 4.5, which is 3% lighter. It's, you know, the stats are the women's hands are 10 to 15 centimetres on average, smaller than male hands. They're trialling it on the Sevens World Series. They're going to trial it in Opiki Super Rugby in New Zealand. And then later this year, here in the UK, they're going to trial it in the women's WXV. So big news this week, big news.
Yeah. Now, Zoe Harrison, who so far in this Six Nations for England has kicked 15 from 15 off the tee, she doesn't normally kind of express strong opinions, Zoe Harrison, but she has this week. Boy, she came and said, thinks this is the worst decision ever. What do you think?
Well, I think Zoe says it how it is. And I think, to be honest, I agree with Zoe. We'll give it the chance in this trial to settle a bit the debate. But that is her point of difference, and for her not to have been kind of consulted beforehand in terms of not even knowing that a new size ball was coming in, I think kind of questions the reasons why behind it as well. But also I think the side of how we're going to measure the difference, how we're going to measure that it is better, and those kind of objectives that we want to see from the outcome of this 4.5 size ball.
Yeah, now I know World Rugby, they want to see the game, men's and women's, they want it to be an entertaining spectacle, don't they? But at this stage of the women's game, Ruby, I think handling errors are, in the Women's Six Nations, are the lowest they've ever been. So is there a little bit of you thinking, look, why now? If it ain't broke, don't fix it?
I'll just be honest, it's frustrating. I think this is over a decade ago, the women's game brought this up when we were still amateur and we were thinking, how can we make this game better? But honestly, over the last 10 plus years, all the women's game is done and gone. We've just gone and got better. Yeah. Zoe's kicking from the sideline now. There were talks we used to say in the women's game, we won't kick outside the 15s. No need anymore, Sonia. We don't, I don't know what the Red Roses do in camp, but Black Ferns, we're always trialling with one hand, passing, skills. I've even talked to male players who say they wish there was a smaller ball as well. So it is a little frustrating at this point in the game. And the frustration also comes from, what is a trial then? Who are you talking to? I've talked to all the best kickers on my side of the world. I know KDM, Red Roses, talked to all the best kickers here, including Zoe Harrison, who's very vocal about her opinion, and I agree with it too. At this point in our game, women's rugby have worked so hard to sell out the last couple World Cup finals. It's been amazing. Red Roses did a great job here in the UK. So yeah, at this stage, what does a trial look like? Who are you asking? Who's Red Rugby talking to about it? So,
there's implications as well, isn't there, for the grassroots game? Because the club's supposed to suddenly buy a whole raft of new rugby balls. How are they going to afford that? OK, let's turn our attention then to today's game. Italy hosting England, of course. Italy make 2 changes to the team that comfortably beat Scotland. No place in the starting lineup for the player of round 3, Francesca Scorbini. She's replaced by Beatrice Veronese at blindside flanker. 8 of the squad so experienced, more than 50 caps, the latest of those being Harlequins prop Silvia Tirani, who got her half-century against Scotland a fortnight ago. Both wingers scored in the win over Scotland. They both keep their places, but have swapped wings, perhaps to maybe combat the threat of a certain Ellie Kildunn. Let's now find out more from the Italy head coach, Fabio Rosselli, who's at pitchside with Elmer Schmidt.
Fabio, Italy at this stage, 3rd on the table in the championship so far. Outside of a win today, what is the message to your group? What do you want to see?
Yeah, honestly, we cannot see the table. So we know that we are going to play against the strongest team in the world. So that is what discussed at the start of the week. So to be aware that we are going to play against the strongest team, but in a way at the same time we started to prepare for the match refusing that a kind of ending was already written. So it's a good opportunity for Italy. We want to see what kind of team we are building, and we can see just playing against the highest level. So that is our challenge.
Last week's fans player of the round, Scorbini, on the bench. Talk us through your selection decisions this week. Yeah,
we tried 15 players started on the bench who are having a good performance. So we tried just to select with the criteria of give a continuity. And I'm very happy, everybody happy that on the bench, Gaia Dosi probably is going to win her first cup. So will be the 4th player winning the first cup in these 6 nations. So in a way, for the future,
yes.
The future is very, very important.
That's Fabio Rosselli, the Scotland coach, into his 2nd Six Nations, a mean winger back in the day. Zoe, what are you making of this Italy team under Fabio Rosselli? You've obviously played them many times.
Yeah, I think that their physicality, especially over these last 2 years, has definitely increased. We're seeing more dominant tackles from them. Their back 3 especially, their metres per carry, Minuzzi holding that, and most metres per carry in the championship. So that's definitely a threat. Their short pass down to the edge and the width of play is like fantastic and something that they've definitely brought in over the last 2 years.
Yeah, now Ruby, we mentioned earlier, it's Italy in their last game, I mean, they blew Scotland away ultimately, of sticking 40 points on them. Was it their defence really that underpinned that performance? We talk about their attacking threat, but was that defence important to them?
Yeah, I think Italy just brings so much energy, especially in that first half. Historically, actually, the scores between England and Italy in the first half have actually been quite close, and I do believe that line speed pressure, the energy they just constantly are bringing phase after phase is a massive, massive part of that. So I think today, you know, if they bring that line speed, puts pressure on the skill set there, it will make a difference. And I found that really interesting that the coach just said Scorbini on the bench, it's for the future, because I think it's because they play such a good first half. The second half, they need a player like her to come up. Would you mind, Sonia, if I took us through a bit of a clip?
Yeah, go for it. You take it away, Ruby, too.
I love analysis.
I'm never going to say no to you, am I?
Brenda Holden there, the Scottish halfback, I think that's going to be crucial for the Red Roses too. She's actually caught in that channel, and as we see, little chips over top by Italy, not only in their line speed defence, their line speed pressure on attack, boom, makes the tackle. Have a look here too, in this next tackle, once they make the tackle, they're rolling out towards the cleaner. So if we have a look here, boom, makes the tackle. And then look, actually, just that half a second, they have to push her there. Then Italy get that steal. This is the cause, the line speed pressure, not just on attack, but on... not just on defence, but on attack, post those kicks, they were getting a penalty, kicking to the corner, and the forwards were scoring. So it's all about energy for them, you know, tactically around that ruck, and I think it will cause Red Roses a couple of headaches in that first half.
Yeah, it was only 10-0 at half-time between Italy and England in Parma 2 years ago, a game you played in. What are your memories? I mean, they can be really competitive, can't they? I suppose the way that the women's game is developing, it's about trying to see if teams can now last the full 80 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what Italy have done. Like 2 years ago, they came out really strong in that first half. Last year when we played them, it was the second half that they had that strong performance. So maybe with Scorbini being on that bench, that's where he's looking for the impact to come. Can they put out that pressure in the first half? Then they bring on a bench that can come and keep the momentum going and attacking England.
Yeah, and what about Italy's back three? Because we talk about England's ability, England's try score. They've scored 27 tries so far in this Six Nations Championship, but they've got threats, haven't they, Zoe?
Definitely, I'd say that their back three is one of their best units. For example, you've got Minuzzi, like I just mentioned before. She's the highest metre per carry in this championship, and she's 5 from 5 in the last 5 games. Likewise, Dinka, she's 7 from 7 in the last 7 games. So I think they're such a key threat, and you can see them wanting to play wide, to get the balls into their hands so that they can make that ground, and the speed that they have, the feet, the agility that those back three have is definitely one of the biggest strengths that Italy hold.
Absolutely agree with you. Couldn't agree more, actually. And I think, you know, Dinka, 5th overall point scorer in the whole competition, and she's played every single minute of the Six Nations. I think they're versatile, they never give up, and Muzo was actually winger of the Six Nations tournament last Six Nations. So for me, after that analysis clip, a win for Italy is, can you manipulate somebody to come into that between the front line and the back line defence? Can you either push someone back or bring someone forward? Then you can get the ball to space and release these outside backs. It's going to be amazing. Yeah,
the weather's amazing as well, so I suspect there are going to be tries. Let's bring you the England team news now, because we were talking about just how many changes they've been having to make. 7 from the team that put 60 points on Wales, including a late reshuffle in the pack. Maddie Fainarty, the latest Red Rose, injured, so the very versatile Abby Burton switches to number 8. She'll be happy there. Ala Latui comes from the bench to start in the second row, with Christiana Balogun joining another uncapped player in Heidi Head on the bench. 3 changes in the backs as fullback Emma Singh returns to the starting lineup, shifting Ellie Kildun to the wing, a role she undertook against Scotland in round 2. Helena Rowland, congratulations to her on her 50th cap at the same venue where she made her debut in 2020. Let's hear from the England head coach now. It's John Mitchell. He's talking to Elma.
Mitch, Maddie Fainarty ruled out, late announcement on that. How long is she out for?
Yeah, Maddie could be available next week, so just something in one of the warm-ups, no contact, just sort of got a little bit of a soft tissue strange feeling sort of thing. So better off to take precautions and find out exactly what's right.
Meaty challenge for Ala Latui moving into the second row. What's the hardest thing about testing so much depth?
I guess the biggest challenge for us is we adapt again, don't we? So every week we've had to deal with moving parts. Lewis Deacon's doing a great job with the forward pack. It's something we've been used to probably just about every week, so it's nothing new really. But in saying that, it presents an opportunity for one of the younger players, one of the new players, to step up and present a case to start at test level.
Despite plenty of tries in Bristol before the fallow week, a lot of the talk after that was about discipline and breakdown detail. What are the major work-ons today?
Yeah, I didn't hear those two words you talked about. I thought more around, Wales did well around the structured attack. We heard them in the unstructured game. We've just been tweaking a few things. The good thing about fallow week is the game does give you feedback and you can learn. So we're definitely looking to improve on some areas.
There you go, that's the England head coach John Mitchell talking to Elma out in the sunshine in Parma. Zoe, look, this England pack, it's frankly unrecognisable from the starting 15 that won the World Cup back in September last year. Just looking at it, what are your thoughts?
I think that it's a massive opportunity. I think you have got the experience. You've got Amy Cookane in there. She's an incredible leader, and I know she's been heading up a bit of the defence and really driving those standards there. But the likes of Abby Burton, how versatile she is, she comes into that line out. Not had too much experience there, but haven't seen too much of a difference there. So I think her work there and the amount of ball carries that she's getting through is just incredible. But like I said, I think the environment has enabled these players to be able to perform on a weekend and come up to scratch with the England standard that the Red Roses hold.
Yeah, Ruby, England's strength and depth. And we thought this was going to be a Six Nations with England in transition, but there they are. They've played 3, won 3. They've got 3 bonus point wins. What will teams in the Southern Hemisphere be thinking of England when they look at how they've just missing a dozen players, but they don't appear to have skipped a beat?
That's the funny thing. I'm talking to other rugby players from my side of the world and they're like, yeah, England's winning. And I'm like, no, bro, they had 12 injuries and they weren't in random positions. They're quite centralised to that forward pack. So it's actually quite incredible. I'll be honest with you, Sonia, I don't really like it. Don't like it at all. There's been 4 players in this England team, Cockayne, Packer, Jones and Rowland. They're the only 4 that have started every game consistently. Every other position it's been a surprise even today with Balogun. Amazing surprise and really cool thing down at Bristol Bears. But I think it's quite amazing, and I don't actually think the rest of the world appreciates what the Red Roses are actually doing right now.
Yeah, look, Zoe, Ellie Kildare was such a superstar during the Rugby World Cup, as were you, of course, as well. Look, she's obviously back on the wing for the second time in this championship. Emma Singh comes in at fullback. What do we get from Emma Singh, would you say, that maybe we don't get from Ellie Kildare?
I think maybe it's not about what you get more from one than the other. I think it's about getting them both on the pitch at the same time and enabling that talent to strengthen in England's back line. I think obviously Singer, she's got an incredible kicking game. She can step into that kicking off the tee if needed. Not that we need it because we've got Zoe Harrison there, but also the pace that Ellie Kildare has on the wing is just phenomenal, and I think to get them both on the pitch really steps that England back 3 up another notch.
Ruby, do England lose anything from having Ellie Kildare on the wing?
Look, how on earth does Mitch drop Ellie Kildare? It's pretty. It's just her stats, her performances when it matters. Everybody loves to see things like this. This is her on the wing. Do we lose anything? I think she would argue yes, because she obviously loves the 15 jersey. She's made it her own. She really loves to attack from the back. But look at this. If you're putting someone with her kind of wheels on the wing, she only had 7 carries against Scotland and she scored twice. That's, every 7 times she touches it, you're getting 5 points. That's a pretty amazing stat to have. So I don't think it's... Yeah, I agree with that. It's not one better than the other. I think Singh is she's really great positionally. Her kicks and play are amazing. How do you infuse someone like Singh when you have a Kildare? It's head-scratching stuff for Mitch, and I think this is his answer.
Now, so far, because there are so many of the big guns missing, if you like, Zoe, England have capped 3 players so far already in this Six Nations, and if there's 2 potentially could be added to that list today, with Heidi Head and Christiana Balogun on the bench today for England. Tell us first of all a little bit about Heidi Head, because actually she could qualify for 5 different countries, and she's come up from Australia and has decided to play for England. Tell us a little bit about her.
Yeah, I think she's a fantastic girl to start with, but yeah, coming over from Australia just last year to play in the PWR, to have that chance to potentially play for England, and I think what she's done in the PWR with Trailfinders, she's really stepped up there, and then being involved in the under-21s England team and expressed herself there, and she's a very athletic player. She's great in the line-out. She loves an offloading game. She loves to keep that ball alive, and they're all massive qualities that the Red Roses are looking for, and John Mitchell in particular is looking for in that Red Roses team. So for her to get her first cap today is incredibly exciting, and for her to choose the Red Roses, I think it just is incredible.
I think Heidi Head's story is really important because it's not that she could have played for Australia or those other 3 nations, including New Zealand, by the way. Would have been a great black friend, Heidi. She actually tried to, Sonia. She went to Australia. She was in the 15 setup, the 7 setup. She was in the Reds program. She tried to play for Australia, wasn't getting anywhere, reaches out to PWR coaches, hello, turns up at the Trailfinders, great attitude, great athlete, makes the under-20s England team, parents fly over to watch her debut for the under-20s, hello, to end up extending their trip, great trip to Italy with some ham, some cheese and some wine, watch their daughter debut for the best team in the world. Like, how amazing is that? So, yeah, I think she's a story that we need to talk about in the future, because what does that mean for the future of development? We
can talk further if she gets on the pitch today, along with Christiana Balogun as well. There you go. Special moment for Helena Rowland. She chalks up her 50th cap today. Let's go straight to commentary in the sunshine in Palmer. You've got Brian Moore, Katie Daly-McLean, and as ever, Sarah Orchard.
Yes, there goes Helena Rowland from Welland's junior section to world champion. She actually made her debut in the same stadium back in 2020. She's now got 50 caps, as Rowland, of course, hugely popular as her teammates now come and join her out on the field in Palma. Now, Italy had a record home crowd here in the Six Nations just last week, but a reminder, they've never actually beaten England in 26 attempts. And it was a thumping victory over Scotland this time last week that will be buoyed for the whole of Fabio Rosselli's side, because, of course, England, they do remain favourites to defend their title. They've got 3 wins under their belt. And as we get ready for the start of round 4 now in northern Italy, what have the home side got? The flags are flying. Is it going to be another record crowd as everyone just starts to settle down and get ready for the anthems? colours of the Italian flag floating around Parma. Let's take a look at these lineups. Head coach Fabio Rosselli makes 2 changes, both in the forwards, with Alessandra Frangiapani and Beatrice Veronese both getting starts today. And as you move into the backs, where they will remain unchanged, Sofia Stefan, their most capped player, now winning number 105 today, is at scrum half, and highly expected soon to become a centurion herself is Valsugana's Michaela Sillery, who racks up cap number 97 this afternoon. On to England, where John Mitchell, well, he makes 7 changes. Gloucester Hartpury's 2-time world champion Alex Matthews is out of the Six Nations with a shoulder injury. Also, Sadia Kabir, Maddie Fairnarty also out. So it's Loughborough's Ala Latui who gets her first start in the second row, and Bristol's Demelza Short, who wears 6. In the backs, Emma Singh starts at 15 for the second time this campaign. She once again pushes Ellie Kildunn to the wing, while Gloucester Hartpury's Mia Venner, she gets a precious start to show her skills in the 14 shirt. As we move on to the benches, we could see debuts for both sides. Colorno prop Gaia Dossi could appear for Italy, while Bristol's Christina Balogun is a late call-up, while Trailfinders back rower Hayley Head is also in line for her first start. Well, Italy did put up one of the best performances against England in the last Six Nations, along with France, but the Azores still came away as losers. A very good afternoon to you, Katie Daly-McLean. How can Italy really take a step forward today?
I think for me there's 2 things. It's about that performance. What do they do on the pitch? Can they show the things we saw against Scotland, against England, who will undoubtedly have a better defensive effort, and it's that scoreline, Sarah. Can they close that gap to around 25-30 points? Would be a good day at the office for Italy today.
The steely eyes just looking on there of Delaney Burns getting ready to go, one of the names in the second row. So many second rows now that England have had to work through in this Six Nations campaign, with the growing injuries that have just kept coming for them, particularly in the pack. Deep breaths all round as they get ready to go. Zoe Harrison making the headlines this week. Amy Cockayne, one of the last women standing from the starting pack in that World Cup final. And our referee today, making her Women's Six Nations debut, is Australia's Jess Ling. England will get us underway in this one, as round 4 is off, as a size 5 rugby ball sails through Italian skies. Stefan there, just calmly waiting at the back. Currently plays her rugby in Toulon in France. As it's gathered calmly there by Singh. Good under the high ball, Singh. Very different player at fullback compared to Ellie Kildunn, as we've been talking about in the build-up to this one. Packer. Good backtracking by Muzzo, who drives forward. Well, Stefan is desperate for more players to arrive. She wants support for that box kick. Italy, the one side who happy to use that box kick, but that is a huge hit coming in by the Italians. Venner just getting caught there, but doing so well out the back door. Meg Jones, she pushes it forwards. And England winning the territory battle and putting Italy there under pressure. Brian Moore.
Well, they did, but I think Italy will be pleased about the offensive nature of their defence. And although you saw Zanetti involved in that, she was involved in an earlier collision where she took it on her terms as well. So that's very much a plus for them. Whether they can keep that up and how long they can keep that up is a question.
Well, Vecchini there, not quite finding the contact she wanted as Rowland manages to push the ball out wide. It's advantage to England. Singh, big handoff, showing her strength there, the Gloucester Hartpury fullback. Latui not expected to start today. This is her first start in an England shirt following that injury to Fayanati. Driven forward by Clifford. England so close now. Burton. Can she get it down? Held up.
Great bit of Italian defence again. We know they come with big dominant tackles, one of the highest percentages across the Six Nations. But for me, it's their consistency. They know what they're doing. They look very organised. Great attempt at the jackal there, doesn't get it. And this one on Abby Burton, the strength from Madia there to roll her, keep her on her back, turtle her so she can't get round, is a really good defensive effort there.
I tell you what it shows though, first phase always, you make mistakes there and everything else becomes much more difficult. So, you know, from an Italian point of view, those rote skills have got to be much better, much more accurate.
Abby Burton wearing a more familiar shirt, back in the back row, where she plays most of her rugby when she's back at club with Trail Finders. One of the many players who's been converted to a second row so far for England in this campaign. Harrison, Cockayne, Rowland, Singh. Taking on a lot of ball at the moment, Emma Singh for England. Really quick hands. England not that keen on taking this into contact at the moment. Latui. Good post-contact meters. That's how she's made her name in the PWR this season, for her carrying strength as it gets pushed out wide to Packer. Remember, 2 Packers on the field, 1 in the back row and our scrum half, not related. Lucy Packer. Popped off ball. Huge bump there going in by Saracens' Kelsey Clifford. Little touch overhead, no one at home. Marley Packer chasing down for England, gets there first. And Marley Packer, 115 caps and 56 tries. She rolls on.
She does. The girl doesn't know when she's beaten, did she? She's had a lot of hard work in that England. She's sat on the bench for a little bit post that World Cup, but she's been given the opportunity. And look, it's smart from Zoe Harrison. They identified there's nobody you can see in that backfield there. Fullback's got left in the middle of the field, and then it's a straight foot race. And Marley Packer loves those. Lovely weight. It sits up absolutely perfectly. But if Italy are not going to defend that backfield, it's going to be a lot of opportunity for people like Marley Packer and Zoe Harrison to identify that.
Zoe Harrison, 15 from 15 with the boot in this Six Nations. Make that 16 from 16 with the boot. And if you actually take her record back to the World Cup final, she's now 17 from 17 on that strike. Her kicking has been phenomenal, and no doubt something we will keep talking about.
And the thing for this is, I think when you look at their numbers, people will sit there and assume that all of these have been from straight in front.
Well, you can see you can call it goal hanging in football terms, but actually she's just on the end of the 1-3-3 pod 1 system, where you have 2 wide players. The difficulty for the defence is, of those 3 pod carriers, the people who are running the ball, how many do you take in if they go there? And if they decide not to use them at all and simply bypass them like England did then, how do you cover that backfield?
Veronica Madia with the restart for Italy, and everything they didn't want. They started so well against Scotland. They really owned their home stadium, but clearly early nerves against the world champions.
You know, it was slightly long. I would think a winger should be able to get up there. When 10 metres on, on a charge, please get a hand to it.
I think the problem is it was out of the field of play, though, isn't it?
Big scrum coming up here.
And you would actually not fancy Italy to give England a hard time, but England have got a completely reconstructed back 5 who need to do their job. However, England have still got the most important thing, which is a very experienced and very powerful front row.
Set!
Okay, our referee Jessling, happy just to reset that one. Just a reminder of all the changes that have gone on in this England packet. I mean, it's quite phenomenal, but just in the build-up to this, Maddie Fairnarty has had to pull out for England. She's been an ever-present under John Mitchell. Apparently she picked up a leg problem. John Mitchell himself said it was just a soft tissue issue. He's confident she'll still be in the mix if England are going for the slam next week against France.
Set!
But it means that Albie Burton, who was meant to start in the second row, has moved back to 8, and Latui is starting. Big push here from England. Penalty advantage. Doesn't matter what the injuries are, this pack is something. Jones. OK, that's a second penalty. Not rolling away there from Italy, and the ball goes straight to the feet of Zoe Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Brian talk about the scrum, but England just at their best, aren't they? Trying to exploit that wide spaces. Zoe Harrison will try and put that as close to the 5 as possible.
Well, you can see how powerful Maud Muir is, because she actually got detached from her hooker and still managed to get the scrum going forward from Titan, where she's locked in, which is extremely difficult to do. And it shows, you know, what a good technician she is.
England then 5 metres out, rolling maul. Amy Cockayne, who has scored in every match so far in this Six Nations campaign, is over for another. England's second try, that looked all too easy for them. With only 8 minutes on the clock, they've already racked up their second.
And unfortunately for Italy, that was all too easy. You've got to make a decision whether you try and drop that maul straight away or not. That's where the Italians' defence has to try and collapse that before the maul gets going, because once it's set up properly and the wedge is in front, there's no Italian going to get anywhere near that.
Well, Zoe Harrison took that kick, and the flags are flying, and she does extend her streak even further now, 17 from 17 in the Six Nations.
It's interesting as well, because definitely from a kicking perspective, Zoe Harrison is going a lot quicker in that routine at the moment, and it's whether as a kicker she knows she's got her own record now. You don't want to start overthinking your technique. She's striking a ball really well, put it down, very similar technique, strategy, walk back, and nailing it, and fair play to her. She doesn't look like she's ever going to miss.
Better restart from the Italians, but Marley Packer quick to deal with it and give the ball to Maud Muir. That's a great jackal over the top from Italy. Referee was happy with everything, but it wasn't dealt with cleanly enough. Knocked on by England. And this is the first real attacking platform that Italy will have had in this match down in the England half.
Well, the problem remains for them, doesn't it? Can they hold their own scrum? Can they hold their own ball? Can they keep the right-hand side of their scrum up so all the attacking options to their right remain open?
Well, the ball at the moment is in the hands of Sophia Stefan. She has played a little bit of rugby in England with Sale. She's now racked up 105 caps. You must know her quite well, Katie. Do you think she's going to go as far as Sarah Baratin, who's the record caps leader for Italy?
Yeah, I've never seen a player work as hard as somebody, Sophia Stefan. You know, she's called the Energizer in Italy because she just keeps going, and I think when you have a player that works as hard as that, it is very impressive.
Brian, talk us through that scrum.
Well, Zanetti collapsing under pressure, and as I said, the difficulties compound for Italy, because if you can't get the first phase ball, everything else is much more difficult. And of course, a seeded ground, and not only that, the seeded throw to England.
Just how incredible is what the England pack are actually achieving, considering the churn and changes they've had?
Well, as I say, it all starts from the front row. Once you've got dominance in the front row, everything else follows. And England are fortunate to have, well, 2 threes that are very, very powerful.
It was Demelza Short who went up to take that one. Cockayne releases the ball to Packer. Jones, the skipper, breaks through. Lucy Packer. Harrison with the touch through, just pinning in Italy back. Kildunn gets a touch on the ball. The foot race is on. Rowland! Helena Rowland on her 50th cap. Jumps on a ball made by Ellie Kildunn, who refused to believe that that ball was going out. And England are running amok right now in Parma.
And this is what Ellie Kildunn brings you on the wing. That footballing skill, that top edge pace. Zoe Harrison wanted that to roll there. Looks like it's going out. Right foot just puts it back inside, and it's a lovely little finish by Helena Rowland. But it's what happens when England, they don't want to know, don't know when to quit, don't know when to leave it. Great finish.
Doesn't matter which side of the pitch it is, Zoe Harrison is happy to provide the goods. Now 18 out of 18, 3 from 3 on the day. A quick word on Helena Rowland. I know it'll be Ellie Kildun that gets the assist there, but on her 50th cap, you just overlapped in her career, didn't you, Katie? She's an incredible footballer.
She is, and you know, she's also had a torrid time with injury. You know, she's been through the mill, and the resilience she shows, the versatility she shows from England to be able to play in multiple positions. It's great to see her get that, and like you say, it's lovely to get a little try on a momentous occasion.
Ball keeps going to Marley Packer from the restart. She keeps refusing to be tackled. Rowland there with the distribution, Latui. And we're playing advantage now to England as well. Harrison has to go into contact. Rowland. Lovely take off the bootstraps there by Kildun. Was Singh just in front? Referee happy to play for now. Big hold up. We've seen a lot of teams try and do this to England, just hold them up there when they go into contact. Out the back door once again. There's numbers out on the right. There goes Venner, Mia Venner. And England have brought up the bonus point try in less than 15 minutes. Italy have got some serious problems out there.
Well, I'm not sure what Giordano, the Italian captain, can say at this point, because they all know it's going wrong and horribly wrong. There's a lack of commitment in some of the tackles, but they're also being exposed tactically. England are playing intelligently and looking for the gaps and finding them and exploiting them. And from the first 2 minutes when Italy were in the fight, they've gone completely down. Unless they get a hold of this, it could be, very, very, very embarrassing in a way which, frankly, no one wants to see.
Well, the flags have stayed down, so it does look like the Zoe Harrison streak is going to end at 80.
Yeah, it does, and it was always going to be probably the easiest one of the four she's kicked today. Look, Mia Venner there, it's a great finish, though, ball in two hands. And what I would say is England have slightly changed the way they're playing today. They're not coming through and playing it physically like we saw them 2 weeks ago. They're just tipping at the line, they're adding that extra pass. And I think from Italy's perspective, they've come to challenge at the breakdown. Now, because England aren't creating as many breakdowns, they're just getting left soft. They're not being able to get them big dominant tackles in.
Familiar sight now, deja vu, with Marley Packer gathering ball and forcing her way through the players there. Clifford. Front row there. As Italy finally gets some turnover balls. Stefan, we've got an England player down injured at the moment as well, as Kildun goes back. She's had to take that over her line as well, but they've stopped play because the flag is up, but there is still an England player down on the ground at the moment after that last contact. So they'll just wait for the medics to come on the field. We think it's Kelsey Clifford, the Saracens prop, who's gone down from that last breakdown. As the crowd are excited for Italy to go quickly, but they will take their time on this one.
Well, one of the success stories for Italy has been Zanetti. Again, that was her turnover, and she, of all the Italians, has shown up in the first 20. Of course, the problem is she needs much more support.
Well, Vittoria Zanetti, it was only her first start last week. Scored a couple of tries against Scotland. Debut try as well. Looks like Kelsey Clifford is okay to continue. Big moment here for Italy. Can they use this position? A poor line-out routine. And they're going to say, I think they're saying that wasn't straight as well. Or are they?
I'm on now.
Well, it's a reprieve for Italy. They will go again. Vecchini. They go short towards the front, taken cleanly by Ranuccini.
Yes, stay there,
It is there at the back. Vecchini has it. The white wall is holding. The blue is desperate to push forward. It's an absolute pile of bodies. Is it over? The referee hasn't given it yet. Okay, so they're giving it as an on-field try, but they just need to check that grounding.
Well, that's crucial in this sense that the TMO has to find conclusive evidence as to why that decision should not be supported. I don't think that it's going to be found by Leo Colgan. The TMO looked fairly clear to me.
Well, the referee and her touch judges have just made their way up to the big screen so they can see these pictures a little bit clearer. Somewhere in there, you might be able to spot a rugby ball. I'm just waiting to see if it's cleanly put over the line. It's Bikini there who has it.
Well, it is fairly clear. Why they needed to go to the TMO, I'm not quite sure, but there you go.
But just to make sure, Brian, they're going to rewind this and show this to you again.
Oh, of course. Well, it keeps someone employed, doesn't it? So there you go.
Vittoria Vecchini gets her 14th try for Italy, and they're on the board, Katie.
Yeah, it was hugely important, isn't it? As Brian said, if they came into this and they didn't take any points in a game that they've been chasing shadows for the opening 26 minutes. So hopefully a bit of a settle now for Italy, an opportunity to get another couple of points here and just build back into this first half.
Well, I think the crowd think that that one might have gone over. I think it just skipped round the back there of the post. So no extras added there by Michaela Sillery, but a simple routine. They did get the reprieve of getting to go through the line-out routine again, but they showed against Scotland they do have this muscle, they do have this power if they get the opportunity to use it, Katie.
They do. Now, I've got a question here for Brian, I think. Is this where we will see England's lack of time together? Will the defensive line-out be the thing that actually the new combos in that back five, they're not as well drilled as potentially...
Well, yeah, yes and no, because when you make the decision to not compete, you have to get the timing of your counter drive and the position of it exactly right, because you make sure that the opponent can set their ball up from a position of strength. And frankly, if you do that properly as a forward pack, you should be unstoppable, which they were then.
Well, England were just trying something there off the line out. Old Ellie Kildun crashing through. It's now Lucy Packer who puts boot to ball, forces the Italians to turn. They know what's coming when they turn around and face England. They're all the way up to their own try line. The pressure from the Red Roses is immense. Manini is in there trying to cover this ball as Ostuni Manuzzi. Crash round the corner comes Ranuccini. This is not where Italy wanted to be. Hugely important box kick there by Stefan, but hardly any ground made.
Katie, from a coaching point of view, you can see the back two Italians there waiting for the bounce of the ball. But normally you would say to them, look, whatever it takes, get on it first, because the longer you wait and the more it bounces, the more unpredictable it goes, and the less time you have.
We've seen this story unfold before. It's Amy Cockayne, and that is moving so calmly forward in the right direction. Have Italy got anything to stop this? It's made 10 metres, and that's too easy for Amy Cockayne to just drop over the line, get her second in this match, and Italy have got to do some thinking.
Yeah, you're looking at me like I have an answer there, and I'm going to stay at Brian, but you're right, it is too easy for Amy Cockayne. For me, it's just the way they spin so many Italian players out there. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 of them Italian forwards have now spun out the side, and England just look very controlled.
Look, defending, you know, a driving ball that's been properly set is very difficult to do within the law, because if you drop one and it's going forward, then you might get a yellow card. The only options you've got are either contest the ball, or you've got to get the counter drive exactly right, or you've got to drop the ball straight away. Once it gets going and it's properly sealed, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to do legally, as we've seen both ways with both sides.
John Mitchell, England head coach, watching on. Lewis Deacon there on the right of your screen, Sarah Hunter on the left. Plenty of discussions, no doubt, will start in the next week or so, with John Mitchell's name no doubt in the mix, the first ever Lions women's head coach. As once again, Italy, they cannot get this restart routine going. Veronica Medea will be hugely frustrated as she gifts England another scrum on the halfway.
She will be, but it's interesting, isn't it? Look, you're 33 points down. Go pin England to a corner. Try and make them kick out. Give yourself an opportunity to line out. It's always interesting when you go in short, contestable, the highest risk of kick in a restart. Sometimes I think teams put themselves under unnecessary pressure. Just bang it into a corner, make Zoe Harrison put it back on the halfway line.
And then, of course, if that does happen, at least you have the throw.
Yeah.
Bind. Set. Going sideways, use it.
Oh, England are being warned there. I thought they were going to get a penalty. Too much movement in that scrum. Rowland Jones there just slightly overran. Harrison manages to get the ball away there. On the floor's Delaney Burns. Whoa, big rush up there by the Italians. England put under pressure, and it looks like all the refereeing team are happy that was all onside.
First time we've seen Italy get any form of competition defensively, having the England attack has been dominating. Here we see it. They've just gone hard. They've gone outside edge. 10, 12, 13 have all come together. Zoe Harrison still pulled that big pass, and Mia Venner there, no space to work. So real big win there for Italians' backs defence.
Bikini does manage to find her woman. Nice run through there by Manini. Stefan looks up, manages to find Fedrighi. Back inside, really nice stuff to Rancini. Sillery. Better from Italy, Medea. Just need to make sure they don't run out of gas here as Bikini takes on the ball again. Waiting outside there, calm hands of Veronese. It's slow ball here for the Italians. It's not as fast as England play. It's just whether they can make it count. Tarani is there waiting. Plays her rugby in the PWR at Harlequins. Bikini offering herself. Fedrighi on the 4. England warned, not rolling away, and a big decision here for the Italians as what they do here. Stefan, I think, wanted to take that quickly, and they're going to be forced to make a decision here. Okay, it's going to be a tap and go. Not interested in a scrum or kicking it out. Driven forward this time by Fedrighi. Still 2 meters for Italy left to go. Bikini now. This has been one of the best passages of play we've seen from the Italians. They push back in the opposite direction. It's still the forwards. Was that lost forwards? It's been stripped, says the referee. Play on, Italy. Have they got space on the outside? They cut back in through Manini. Tarani. They are holding their ball here, the Italians. They just need to finish the job. Ranuccini again. Oh, that was a really nice swipe round the side of the ruck, but England read it well, and the white wall holds. Big hit coming in there by Packer on Veronese. And they've lost a couple of meters now, the Italians. Big push out wide. Penalty, and this could be more. Let's listen in. OK, they're just going to check the actions there, because if it's the last person out on the end, Katie, you could be in trouble. It could be a card.
You could be, but also if she hasn't made any attempt to catch it, it doesn't really matter whether she's last or not. You've got to be making an attempt to catch the ball. You can't be slapping it down. So it will be the positions of, I think it's Ellie Kildun's hand.
Well, our Australian referee Jess Ling is supported today by Robbie Jenkinson of Ireland and Bernice Loubet of France. We're just watching Ellie Kildun here.
That's a yellow card.
All day. Yeah.
Is it a penalty try?
No, because I think you've got cover and defence there, haven't you? That she's not certain of scoring. I'm not sure why we need to review this, though. I think that's quite an easy decision to be made by the touch judge there.
I think you can tell by Kildun's reaction.
Yeah.
She knows she's done it.
Oh, dear.
Well, look how far the second England defender goes. If that goes to hand there...
I think you've still got a foot. You've still 7 metres out.
7 metres.
2 covering defenders.
Penalty try and yellow card. Ellie Kildun goes to the bin. England will be reduced to 14 for the next 10 minutes as she holds up her hand, and it's an automatic 7 points for Italy.
Yeah, so referee very clear there. She thinks there's no covering defence. I personally disagree, because I think there's 2 in the picture, but look, Ellie Kildun will know. Like you see, you saw from her reaction, and it's one of those things, instinctive, hands come up, she makes no attempt to catch it. 7 points for Italy.
And let's be fair to Italy, the lead up to that involved a prolonged passage of play, during which they had 3 very good offloads between the forwards and made a lot of ground, so they had to work. It wasn't just that they're the beneficiaries of that particular act of, well, illegal play. They created that from their own, well, from their own efforts.
Well, Italy have the extra women on the field now for the next 10 minutes as Ellie Kildun gets to sit in the shade, which I suppose is one advantage of the yellow card. Stefan. Now, Italy do love a box kick. They've been doing it more than any other team in this Six Nations. Venner manages to just get that ball away to Packer. Big run coming in by trail finders Burton. And Lucy Packer there, she can see the space. Her vision as a scrum half is just second to none right now. So important to England with Natasha Hunt out injured. Well, Italy have got to find a better way to exit from this 22, because when England push them down there, they inevitably come away with points. Well, that's a better box kick from Stefan.
Yeah, much better. And you can just see in your screen there how England have reshuffled. Obviously, losing Ellie Kildun will have an impact about how they man the backfield. So Zoe Harrison there's dropped from the front line. She'll now hold that backfield, so you'll generally end up with 2 players there. Emma Singh, Zoe Harrison, they'll just hold that space now. Oh, look at that ruck start, though, again. Just over 2 seconds for England, 5 seconds for Italy. You just think how much time that allows England's defence to get set, to get organised, to get off the line.
Italy have got to start finding answers to this England maul. I mean, that's definitely slowed. The referee is letting this play for some time. There's the warning. Packer needs to get it out, and that is well won by the Italians. Patience has paid off.
Well, I thought Giordano did well in the middle of that. Stayed in position, went through the middle, watched the ball go past her, and therefore was able to stay in contention.
Well, not the slickest of routines that we normally see from England, who are currently playing with 14 with Ellie Kildun in the sin bin. This is actually the first yellow card that England have had since the World Cup final. It was Hannah Bottoman that was sent to the bin last September. So discipline has been pretty good up until then. I don't think they'll have been too happy with the 9 penalties they gave away against Wales. Not that because that's a bad number, but it was just because Wales only gave away 6.
Yeah, we talk about discipline, haven't you? But realistically, anything under 10 in a game, you'd be pretty happy with that. I think, like you say, that weekend, Wales were very, very squeaky clean.
Set!
Stefan gets the ball away. They're trying to exploit the edges now, knowing that England have that player down, but it's mistakes like that. Exactly what the Italians don't need.
Well, it's very difficult to come back against the grain in a small, narrow side like that. Everything has to go right. And indeed, there's no formation there that can exploit. It's a straight one-on-one tackle when you're trying to evade someone in a 5-metre corridor where you've got a touchline on your left.
It's hard though, isn't it? Because in previous rounds, Italy's back three have been so dangerous and they're so good for them picking up tries. And I think you look at how important your scrum launch is for that. But totally agree, when you're that tied to the sideline and the way the scrum is heading, you can't fight that. You've almost got to go with that wheel.
Well, the other thing, wide out, they're a woman up at the moment, yep. So there must be a gap somewhere wider.
That's an England scrum marching, winning a penalty as well. They can come back for that if they need it. Skipper Jones, she made about 20 metres there. Put back down to Packer, but it's forward and they'll come back for the penalty.
But England doing tactically exactly what they should be doing when they are, a woman down, keeping the ball in, using the scrum, taking time off the clock, and then of course they're going to get a kick, go to the corner and repeat. I would suggest that they're going to repeat the driving maul.
Also sensible play. It's worth remembering, as much as the Women's Six Nations, it's played in the more spring-summer months. England won't be adjusted. We understand it's around 25 degrees at the moment in Parma, and playing in the heat in those kind of conditions for England, they won't have spent the week in this warmth, Katie.
No, sadly not. I think they flew Thursday, so they would have had a day there, bit of acclimatisation. But look, it's nice, isn't it? It's nice to have warm bones, and breaks like this won't do them any harm.
Well, I think it took England to kick that penalty out of play at least a minute. I mean, talk about winding down the clock beautifully.
The referee really ought to have said, get on with it. Being very professional.
It's very well done. England with a player less on the field, but look at that position. They'll be delighted with that. Burns in the sky, and they're driving forward once again. Amy Cocaine. She's already got 2. Referee's just about happy that's still moving forward. We're playing advantage now to England as well, so Italy haven't stopped it. Lucy Packer, Helena Rowland, touch through, chased by Meg Jones, can't quite get there. There's still a penalty coming. Well, the referee's just said there it's a change of bind there, which means that you can't let go and go again.
Well, once you're involved in the maul and it goes past you, you can't change your bind unless the actual driving players break off from the original maul. That's a problem there.
Long pass from Amy Cocaine, taken really nicely. That's round the corner and it's over. Marley Packer goes over for her second try in the fixture and her second of the first half, as England get back to scoring ways, even though they've only got 14 on the field.
Bit of a pace change there from line-out, wasn't it? We've seen it where they've sat, they've formed it this time. It was quick, it was in. Marley Packer, Amy Cocaine doesn't even get time to get into position, and Marley Packer there, she knows exactly where that try line is, just peels off, lets the big girls continue pushing, and she's over again for what must be getting close to an England record.
Just watching Zoe Harrison slot that one over the top. OK, Marley Packer is now up to 57 tries. That makes her equal on second on England all-time try scorers list with Nikki Crawford. Number 1 on the list is Sue Day, who is very nervously watching on somewhere with 61.
Oh, I mean, you look at Nikki Crawford was a winger, a very, very accomplished winger as well, extremely fast. And I don't know if it's a bigger compliment to Marley Packer or an insult to Nikki Crawford that they're joint on tries.
Does it have to be, is it a binary choice? Do we have to?
Of course it is. Everything's a choice, Brian.
You're mean, you're just mean.
Yeah.
A slight mistake there from England. Unexpected there from the restart as they wrap up a little bow and give it Italy a scrum at the
As
right
Marley
end.
Packer was going over there, I just feel sorry for Medea, the number 10 of Italy, who stood stock still, having someone run at her from about 5 yards, who's going to bowl her over. And it's a no contest, but one she has to put her body in the way of, thinking, why me?
I can relate. The worst of that was ex-Italian Sarah Tanesi, because she'd eyeball you before she was coming, so you knew she was aiming for you as well.
Ooh, referee not happy with England there. They're pushing before the ball was put into the scrum, so Italy get the free kick. Manini. Stefan popped off ball, the forwards still offering themselves. And it's taken through the middle by Turani. Still Turani, pass away. Frangipani manages to find Ranuccini. And she goes over for her second try in an Italy shirt. And they now have 3 on the board, Italy, despite being 26-0 down. It's going to be a long fight back, but they are starting to get there.
Well, give Turani from prop enormous credit for just seeing that or feeling that gap, driving straight, and the wherewithal to draw the opposition and put the scoring pass in without problem at all.
It all came though from Stefan, didn't she? She was really quick at that scrum free kick, got them moving, got England on. England going backwards, Italy on that front foot, and like you say, fair play, Silvia Turani.
Straight in front of the post there for Michaela Sillery, and so much chat this week all about goal kicking, and it's one area in particular that Italy have struggled on the international stage. When they're in front of the post, not too much of a problem, but with all the talk about the possible change in the future of the size 4.5 ball, we understand that the Italians, a lot of them are in favour of a smaller ball.
Yeah, speaking to Sofia Stefan in the week, she said from an Italy perspective, they are very, very supportive of the idea of a slightly smaller ball and think it would definitely help them.
Well, the argument is that the slightly smaller ball means that handling could be better. It could speed up the game of rugby union for women. If the ball comes down, Ellie Kildun back onto the field now, so England are back up to a full complement of 15 women. Packer, oh, they finally got alive to that little trick that Packer's been playing. Nice touch through there. Astuni Manuzzi chasing. Veronica Medea having to track back. Uses her left boot, doesn't go out of play. Singh. Muir. Still the England pack driving on. Harrison finds Venner, who's well off her wing there, looking for heavy work as Marley Packer's happy to carry on in the outside channels. Absolute whirling dervish, Marley Packer. Latui. Again, strong post-contact meters, and Italy not rolling away. Oh, lovely hands by the England forwards. Still penalty advantage here. Birds in flight for now, as it will come back. And it was Vittoria Vicchini not rolling away at the breakdown.
Yeah, it's got Italy a couple of times, hasn't it? They want to challenge, they want to go for the jackal. I think they were 13 over the Six Nations, so definitely a strength of theirs. But the tackler has to clear that area, has to allow England the opportunity to protect their ball before that jackal can happen. But England looking sharp, aren't they? Them little tips at the line, the offloads, really sticking.
How do you think the England back five, the back five of the scrum, that is, have gone, given that there have been so many changes?
I think this is what has really impressed me about England over the campaign. You wouldn't look at that group and say, oh, that's really new. Yes, there's maybe a couple of things you would change, but Short's gone very well, Latui. I mean, Burton hasn't played a lot for England, even though she's been around, and looks very, very accomplished in there.
Well, whilst you might be looking at that scoreline and thinking England are trucking along quite well, it's worth knowing that 21 points is the most they've ever conceded in a first half, so they'll be looking to keep that to 19 for a long time now. France managed to do that in last year's Six Nations. Italy get the ball. It's the try scorer, Ranuccini, and that's a high tackle coming in there by Packer. And Ranuccini has stayed down. I think we are going to get a replay of that.
You just saw technically a scrum half just looked up and paused for a microsecond, which means the receiving player has two tacklers a yard further before she can catch the ball. That's all it took.
It's the downside of a fly half playing scrum half there, isn't it? Like you say, that lift, isn't it? Ball's now out, and Marley Packer's quite happy to go and get her.
For people watching and young players watching, that's just an example of how a very slight delay right from the base can ripple out. So if it's going wider, you've got to think every time you have that slight pause, the defenders are a yard further forward. That's how much of a difference it can make.
Ranuccini is good to play on. Ball has been knocked on by England in that line out, so it's advantage to Italy. It's another pick and go through the middle. And they'll come back, and Italy will have the scrum.
I think by and large, if you look at the way the first half has gone, and especially the turbo-charged start that England had, and to be fair, Italy contributed, unfortunately, to their own downfall there. I think Italy have deserved a reasonable amount of credit for sticking in the game when they could quite easily, psychologically, have gone completely.
Clock in the red. Final play.
Crouch. Bind. Stand up. No, stand up.
Referee not happy.
Stay down. Stay down.
Okay, words going there to Vittoria Zanette and Kelsey Clifford on the far side of that scrum to stay down.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Sophia Stefan is incredibly frustrated with where the England back line are standing, as the ball eventually goes straight off the field. I'm not quite sure what she was so upset about, as that is the half. England, they came out like an absolute train, but Italy have managed to fight back. Penalty try and 2 tries of their own making as well. England have certainly not had it all their way, as the brains trust there from England just have a little chat before they go down the tunnel. But half-time in Parma, Italy 19, England 40. Little touch overhead, no one at home. Marley Packer chasing down for England, and Marley Packer, 115 caps and 56 tries. She rolls on.
Yeah, Marley Packer, she might be 36 now, in the twilight of her career, Zoe, but she looks like she's having an Indian summer, doesn't she, in terms of her performances for the Red Roses? How impressed have you been? But she's got 5 tries in this tournament now.
Yeah, Packer is a gift that keeps on giving. I think we saw it last week against Wales, like her ball carries and the pace that she's putting onto the ball, and it's like she's got a new lease of life. Like, she is out there with the young ones, but still performing to the best of her ability. Up there, second most points try scored ever in an England shirt, which is joint with Nikki Crawford, which is absolutely incredible. And she's still going.
Yeah, look, Ruby, she was really emotional as she got player of the match in the last round against Wales. 3 minutes only on the clock here. She set the ball rolling. She was behaving like a wing here, wasn't she?
She showed a bit of pace, Sonia. If we look here, there's been a lot of space back there. England have identified it. And the way Packer flew down that wing made me want to go warm up, give her a race later on. It was really good vision from Harrison here. But she had a lot of work to do, did Packer. That's a winger she just bet to that ball as well. So, man, I'm impressed with Marley. I'm not actually sure what an Indian summer is, but it looks a lot of fun. And you're right, she did get emotional, because we're talking about a woman who's given her whole adult life to this jersey, bro. You know, 115 caps. And we talked about at the beginning to show opportunity for the next gen and younger generation. This is also an opportunity for someone like Marley Packer to show what it truly means, dedicate your whole career to a jersey. That stuff really rocks me up. And the thing about Marley is, not only is she actually like top try scorer in this game, she's top tackler as well. She gets in those rucks. I've played against her a few times and it's not enjoyable. She's in your face. She just has every trick in the book, and to see her still scoring tries like that, it actually makes your heart really warm.
So actually, Marley Packer and Amy Cockayne, Zoe, are having a sort of personal arm wrestle here as to who's going to be the top try scorer for England in this championship. Both forwards, of course. She's now got 5, Amy Cockayne, because she scored twice here today. What is it about her that is just one of the first names on the team sheet?
I think it comes with that experience. Like I said in the pre-match, she is one of the defence leaders, and she's a real voice in that team alongside Marley. Like, they're both really key players in that forward pack to drive this team around the pack, and they've been in games like this many times. So that for them to be alongside those young girls, bringing them along and showing them how it's done, is key to the Red Roses.
Yeah, it's fairly standard picture, isn't it? See Amy Cockayne at the back of a driving maul like that. Now look, you've got a rugby ball there, Ruby, and Ellie Kildunn, when she was in the defensive line there, she was obviously ultimately sent off for, you know, with a yellow card. That's just so instinctive, isn't it? You can't help yourself in that position, can you?
It's a really hard one. And I must add, as a winger, you are actually in this situation a lot. The defenders have stopped coming to help you. They've got heaps of numbers. And as you can see there, as a rugby player, if there is any kind of object getting thrown past your face, you reach out and you want to grab it. So I think the yellow card in the letter of the law was the right decision, but there is actually a skill to go against what your human and natural instinct is in that moment. So look, Sonia, you know, if this ball comes past my face like that, how am I supposed to not? Like, it's absolute instinct. So it's a skill to go against everything you want to do. Like, if Zoe threw, you know, something, even a baby toy, you know, I'm like, I really want to catch it. So really rough. I think to get a penalty try as well was pretty crucial for Italy. It got their momentum back in that. So, but I know Ali EK will be really sorry. She'll say sorry to her team, but it's just one of those things as a rugby player you're taught to do, and in those moments you just can't do it.
Yeah. Now look, it looked like England were just going to run away with this in the first half. So, but Italy have shown some real spirit, and to come back with that try towards. They've scored 2 tries and a penalty try, but that try at the end was well worked, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a really clever play by Sylvia Tarani, picking that through the middle. It's obviously something that they've identified, and that offload at the end just to finish it off. I think that England, their attack is absolutely on fire, but I think what they'll want to work on, what they wanted to work on after Wales, is that defensive area and be more of a white wall that they can't get through.
I really loved how Italy identified they needed to change up their game plan. We talked about last week their kicks over the top. They did kick early on, didn't work. In fact, England got an advantage from it, and I think they were scratching their heads. First 20 minutes, possession stat was 81% in England's favour. First 20 minutes, they had to change something, and you know, thank goodness they did. By half time, the possession was back to 58-42, so it was a lot more even. But I love that instead of kicking it away, they kept ball in hand and they changed it and they identified it in the moment. So half-time chats in the Italy camp will be very interesting.
Thank you both very much. England leading 40 points to 19 then over in Parma. Now, look, we're over a week into the month of May, aren't we? Meaning that many parks and cricket clubs up and down the country will be full of the sound of Leather on Willow. A massive summer for England's T20 women's cricket team. A home World Cup starting in June, which you can see live on the BBC. Cricket's played a big part in the life of one of the shining stars in this Six Nation, England prop, Maud Muir.
Hi, I'm Maud Muir.
Oh, Muir! Look at her go! Absolute muscle power. Take a bow, Maud Muir.
I pretty much played every sport growing up, but it was always cricket and rugby, cricket in summer and rugby in winter. I kind of just did cricket because my mum loved it and she hated watching rugby because she was scared of me getting injured. Definitely a cricket family. My dad used to be part of a cricket club called the Red Bat Cricket Club. Yeah, it is a fun game.
Are you excited about the T20 World Cup this summer?
Very excited, yes.
Would you like to hear from the England camp?
Hi Maud, it's Freya Kemp here from England's T20 squad. We're looking for some advice from you ahead of the World Cup at home this summer. What was your favourite stadium to play at during the Rugby World Cup last year?
It's got to be Allianz Stadium. The crowd was just immense. Having that many people supporting you at home in a final, it was truly incredible.
What was the best distraction for England to escape the pressure of the tournament?
Myself and Mackenzie Carson had a scrapbook that we did throughout the tournament on our off days or in the evenings. So it was a good distraction whilst also now being able to reflect and look back on. It's super cool.
Did you meet any celebrities?
Ooh, celebrities. Chloe Kelly did come to one of our games.
You're doing amazing things and I can't wait to hopefully come and watch you in the final, so make sure you get there.
Can you describe the feeling of walking into Allianz Stadium for the final and then winning the World Cup?
Ooh, as I came off the bus at the final, I said to one of the girls, it feels like we're in the Borrowers. I couldn't believe how many people had come to watch us. And when that final whistle went, I think it was just pure relief and excitement. And yeah, it was just all of our hard work had paid off.
If rugby doesn't work out for you, will you come back to cricket?
I feel like no. I'm too aggressive / not coordinated enough for it.
What is your best advice about being a home nation at a World Cup?
I think being able to actually embrace it and embrace having so many home fans, and you can go home and you can be able to relax a little bit more, but then when you come back into camp, really being able to switch on.
Thanks Maud, good luck against Italy.
Good luck, Freya.
You should have seen the face Zoe just pulled when she saw herself crying on screen there. Now look, it's a summer full of cricket on the BBC, isn't it? Starting tomorrow night, you can see highlights of England against the reigning T20 world champions New Zealand. We know who Ruby Tui will be cheering on. The T20 Women's World Cup taking place right here in England. It begins on June the 12th with England facing Sri Lanka in the opening game. You can see coverage of that all across the BBC. And in July, the 100 returns for both the men and women. You can see a variety of matches from the fast and furious, colourful competition that is the 100 on BBC TV and online. And I know that the Red Roses, in some of their downtime, like to turn to bat and ball, don't they, Zoe?
Yeah, I think it's one of our favourite pastimes, actually. Staff versus players, bit of cricket.
Here you are. Now, this is in, where was this?
This was in New Zealand 2 years ago now.
Okay.
The staff versus players, little tournament, which is always good fun.
Because Ruby, John Mitchell's son Darryl plays for New Zealand, so I imagine he'd probably be quite good with a cricket bat, wouldn't he?
Yeah, we call it BYC at home, so backyard cricket. So every Christmas we actually have sun, and you go out the backyard, everyone gets amongst it, and I feel sorry for all the windows that are in close proximity. But no, really looking forward to that, and the White Ferns are coming over to play England in a bit of a warm-up series in May, actually. So I can't wait to see the girls. I'm excited.
And Zoe, as the captain of England's World Cup winning England squad in last September. We lifted that trophy. What advice would you give to the women's cricketers? The pressure of being on home soil at a World Cup?
I would say the biggest thing is to embrace the occasion, but also bring the fans along with you. Like, get out, meet them, get into your crowds and like embrace that side of it, because they make it so much of what it is.
I've just watched you. The second you've got a rugby ball in your hands, Ruby Tui, you can't help yourself. What are you like with it? Are you batter or a bowler?
I'm an all-rounder.
You'd be good at everything, right?
Yeah, definitely an all-rounder. But the funny thing is, the stat that you missed out there, Sonia, is New Zealand are the defending champions. So
no, I didn't. I mentioned that.
Oh, you did?
I did. Don't worry, Ruby.
Just double-checking so everyone at home knows. And England and New Zealand are actually in the same pool, so I'm really looking forward to that pool match-up end of June. That'll be amazing. But I love to bat. So I think, what about you?
I was a slow bowler.
Slow bowler.
It tricked everyone.
Look, plenty more to come as ever across the BBC. And following us, Scotland take on France in Edinburgh. Coverage begins at 4. Can Scotland join England? Looks like England going to win. Are we going to get a Grand Slam decider? Later this evening, Ireland face Wales in Belfast from 6:20. Viewers in Wales can watch on BBC One, BBC Two in Northern Ireland, or on the iPlayer. And next weekend, we'll be in Bordeaux for what is likely to be a championship decider between France and England. Coverage begins at 4:20. And always, there's plenty on offer across the BBC iPlayer.
Everything we knew about travel does not apply.
It's lovely down here. It's like sunbathing on a beach.
Ready to rock and roll? Let's go.
Molly, come on.
Sorry for ruining your photos.
I'm running on adrenaline now.
Race across the world. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
And the current race across the world actually begins in southern Italy, and we can go back there now and speak to Elma.
Jess Breach, you're a pillar here today in Parma. For people at home who doesn't know what that means, what does a pillar do? What are your responsibilities?
You just help the team out throughout the week. You run like the defensive and attacking shapes that the Italians will be running today. You help on match day, do like protein shakes, get coffees, and just bring the vibes up, really.
You bring the vibes up. You brought the vibes up in Bristol. You came on off the bench quite early on for Millie after about 20 minutes. So you know all about coming off the bench. There are probably 1 or 2 extra butterflies for Heidi Head and Christiana Balogun potentially coming off the bench in the second half. What's the key to that? Is it fine art?
I think so. I think you're always going to be nervous for your first cap, but they're both super relaxed and they've been playing really well in the PWR, so I think they've deservedly got this opportunity to come off the bench here in the sunshine. Heidi's probably more used to the weather than Christiana, but I think, yeah, they're both going to do an amazing job.
What makes a warm, almost completely breeze-free day like this trickier?
Just probably the heat. I think us English girls probably aren't used to it. We have been doing quite a few saunas after training, but yeah, I think nothing's quite like this. But it does mean it's kind of free-flowing rugby, which I think we have seen today, so that is really nice.
Yeah, and thanks to Marley Packer, Jess Breach has slid down the list of England's all-time leading try scorers. Now look, Ruby, another 5 points, and Italy will actually have scored the most they ever have against England, which is 24. What do you expect from them in the second half? Do you think they can repeat that effort?
Yeah, I think the first 20 was rough for Italy, which I don't think we expected. But if you think about it tactically, and they're kicking the possession away game plan in England, absolutely negating that, does make sense. Second 20, they picked it up at that first half. So for me, it's ball in hand. I think England was struggling with the offload game. And then, as Zoe pointed out earlier, around that ruck, you know, the English are trying to fan out. So, yeah, England have been really protective of their breakdown, though. So I think it'll be good. I think they can do more.
I think we're good. We'll talk to you after the game, both of you. Zoe, Ruby, thank you very much. Going back to commentary, Brian Moore, Katie Daly-McLean and Sarah Orchard.
Thanks, Sonia. Right, Italy ready to get back underway. England waiting patiently there in the sunshine. Bring you any changes once we are underway. Of course, we've got 3 debutants desperate to get off the bench. 1 for Italy, 2 for England, as Italy just go for a really short restart routine there. It had been one of the things that they discussed with Fabio Rosselli at half-time, about just getting those basics sorted. England switched the direction. As the ball is controlled at the feet there of Packer. Eventually lost and knocked on. Italy with the ball at the right end of the field, and you can see there that is Gaia Maris, who's into the Italian front row. They have struggled a little bit at the scrum. So Stuni Manuzzi in the red scrum cap there takes on the work. Stefan looking to pin England back, and that's a better idea there from Italy. First real passage of play they've had, and they've done well.
It is a better idea, although I wonder, given that they were on the front foot, why they might have kept the ball in hand, because they're not going to get that many chances against England. However, they were managed to take advantage of a strange sort of indecision from England there. I don't know why they went blind there.
Taken in the air by Short. England have to find their own exit here. Harrison. Lovely long boot from Harrison to clear.
It's just so easy for England, and these are some of the things in rugby you can practice, you know, your line-out exit, your set piece, because it alleviates so much pressure. You look at what Italy have just played through for the last 90 seconds to get a bit of field position. Within 30, 35 seconds, England are out there 22, pretty much back at halfway.
Bikini, veteran of 2 World Cups, gets the ball in. Italy women, of course, the first Italian side, male or female, who made a quarter-final of a World Cup, that back in 2022. They didn't get out of the pool in 2025, to their frustration. As they just can't quite clear that. As Sillery tries to forget that one as they gift England the line-out.
Well, this is where players with a bit more experience and teams with a bit more experience know when to shut things down and say, right, it hasn't worked as we wanted it to, but let's not just punt the ball away as something because we can't think of anything else to do.
England, quick pass is so flat to the line, out to Kildan on the left. She touches it through. Last touch of the ball there coming from Italy's Alicia Dinka. They have a bit of a joke between the pair of them there, as England set up a nice position.
We're starting to see a lovely bit of variation in England's attack there. You've seen them in the opening first half go round the corner, so keep going the same way. This time England come back to try and utilise Ellie Kildan on that left wing.
Marley Packer. Big run comes through the middle of the park there by Short. Burns. Muir, 3-time PWR winner with Gloucester Hartbury. Now Helena Rowland. Also to add to her very illustrious CV, she also went to the Olympics with Team GB in Tokyo. And England, they're creeping ever closer to that Italian line, but they've lost the ball in contact there through the captain, Meg Jones, and that last pass not getting away. Been knocked on there by England, so 2 knock-ons, and Italy with a chance to clear.
It's a nice rip there from Stefan. Meg Jones a bit high, and just a rip of underneath the ball. Italy then had a little opportunity to go and play into those wide channels.
Okay, we've got changes here, and we were expecting this to happen. You can just see there Ranuccini coming off the field, also coming off Frangipani, and coming on Duca and Scorbini.
Well, those substitutions will not weaken their scrum in any way, I don't think.
It's actually Veronese who's come off there. Frangipani's still there in the back row.
But the problem for Italy remains where it has done from the start, which is in the front row.
Can't quite clearly hear what our referee Jess Ling there is saying to the front rows, but she's going to let them reset one more time.
I think she was calling for a reasonable gap and the break foot for the hookers, which is the right foot. That is a better gap.
Set.
Being gathered at the base by Stefan. Manini charged with crashing that one forward. Got the fresh legs onto the field now of Scorbini, who was player of the match against Scotland just 2 weeks ago in that round 3 fixture.
Use it.
Manini again, who's frequently stood in that first receiver position instead of Medea. She does play fly half, so they switch in and out the two playmakers. Again, that's such slow ball now coming from Italy. England have so much time to arrange and suck up the mistakes. It's knock on and knock on. It's play on now, says our referee. That's gone forward from Italy, and they will now have to reset. And we've got an England player who's down on the ground at the moment. And they'll just take a moment to make sure they get the treatment as the clock goes off.
Katie, we're watching when the Italians went left there. And although criticised them early on for putting the boot to ball, on that occasion, when there was a long way behind where England were, it would have been probably a better tactic from the winger.
Yeah, it was a nice idea, wasn't it? You know, Stefan's box kicked a lot there. They move it to the opposite edge. But like you say, what that happens to England's defence is that the winger and the fullback have to come up as the last woman on the edge. It then creates a lot of space in your backfield. And like you say, if you just have the vision to try and put that on your right foot, and then you've just got a big foot chase and you're asking England to turn and go back.
Advantage to England. They get a free hit here. Out waiting is Venner. Knows that there's space down that right. It's a lovely touch by Mia Venner, just pushing Sillery right there to the whitewash. Wonderful play. Look where Italy are being forced to play on their own line, and they have to take it over, and England will get the scrum.
Abby Burton and Short there, weren't they, together working, very, very conscious of that. If they can get Italy to stay in their dead ball, that they'd get the scrum. But it all comes from that kick we were just talking about from Mia Venner. They know they've got scrum penalty, they know they've got advantage. Lucy Packer doesn't look to kick in behind, moves the ball, and it's a lovely way to kick by Mia Venner there. Emma Singh, great hands. You just see her put on that right foot, covering Italian defence.
Well, I'm pleased that the referee Jess Ling didn't bring that all the way back for the England penalty, because far too often I think referees equate an advantage with something that's certain. When if you've got the ball and you choose to kick it away, then that's your choice.
Set.
For England, they're driving this one. It's being controlled by Burton at the base. Such a difficult skill. It's still being controlled. It's still going. It's advantage as well. Burton scoring. That one so difficult to do. Do not think that you can just wake up and roll that ball over the line. It takes such practice, and Abby Burton has just done that beautifully.
Well, in some ways, a little unsung for the ease with which she's managed to come in and do a job for England. Of course, the front five are making the... As you say, though, the timing of that still needs to be put right. She still needs to keep that in. The unfortunate thing for the Italians is once you're splintered and you're driving sideways, there's literally nothing you can do about it. It's then a matter of control.
Great kick again by Zoe Harrison. She's going to be so frustrated with the one that she hit and missed the post with, given how well she's kicking. But, you know, we talk about Abby Burton, the control. She's been in that second row. She's been calling line out. She will be working on all those back five skills, and it's great to see they get the plaudits.
Well, Ala Latui is making her way off the field of play. Wasn't expecting to start today. Also see Maud Muir, Amy Cockayne coming off the field as well. So more changes out there.
I think Latui can be well pleased with her contribution for the first 50 minutes.
You can also see there's another change here for England as Flo Robinson is onto the field for Lucy Packer.
And I think on that, I know we talked about it at half-time, but how important Lucy Packer is to this team now. I think that is a very much a thinking about, she's done her job, how important France will be next weekend.
Heidi Head also on for England for her debut, and look at Burton go once again. The little hitch kick to build up the speed. Running along, Italian shirts just hanging off her as Harrison's kick there just gets bounced back in her direction. Pressure coming from the Italians, but so far the Red Roses are soaking it up. And happy there, Elisa Giordano. Has done really well, the Italian skipper, to take that ball. Medea pushes out to Sillery, cuts back inside. Support on her shoulder there through Ranuccini. Medea. Big run again by Tirani, who is so important to this Italian machine when it comes to go forward ball. Medea thinks she can see a little bit of daylight there to skip through. Bikini plays scrum half. Once again, the captain, Giordano, goes again. Plays her rugby with Val Sugana. Italian domestic league, known as Serie A Elite. Val Sugana, one of the most biggest women's sides in the setup. Italy almost run out of ideas, you feel, when they come to that box kick from Stefan, as Emma Singh happily takes on the ball. Comes away then, Sarah Byrne manages to find support to Powell. Back inside, Robinson was there, referee happy, it's all backwards. Harrison there, big skip throw there, two blue shirts, get out the way, Venner, back to Marley Packer, she knows where that try line is, she wanted the hat-trick, she got it.
Yeah, look, the replacements have come on and they've massively added there, haven't they? The likes of Matt Carson in there. Heidi Head was very good. Abby Burton on your screen, the offloads, their ability just to change the point of attack. But that lady, Sarah Byrne there, Connie Powell, probably could have given it a little bit earlier there, but England recycle, they keep the ball, they're getting their hands free, everything's coming off. And it's a speeder ball, isn't it? And you're not going to stop Molly Packer from there.
Actually, when they deconstruct the last 3 minutes, they will see 3 contributions from Flo Robinson, 2 of which were in defence and holding on and standing up tackles, which you don't normally see and will go unnoticed apart from when the coaches go through that very carefully. So immediate impact both in attack and defence from Robinson, which is exactly what England need. Can I point out, the only one she missed was the one after you said that she might never miss again. I just want to say that.
That is not true. She hit the post as well.
Helena Rowland, she goes and takes a seat. A good show there for her 50th cap. Scored a try as well as John Mitchell looking to unload the bench here after 50 minutes. And part of that won't just be planned. It's purely, surely, down to the heat, Brian.
Yes, of course, and they get various stats coming through from the body monitors they wear. And look, England have got enough numbers not to take any chances at all. And let's see, frankly, you know, they have got this in the bag as far as the result goes, and let them see what else can come forward.
Flo Robinson having to take the ball into contact there as England try and find a way out of their own 22 through Harlequin's Powell. Harrison. Still a nice platform here for Italy, just outside there of the 22. But the biggest thing you always see with England when you look at those statistics, it's the metres gained, and those post-contact metres are just off the scale, Katie.
Yeah, I think they are, and I think it's also the gain line, isn't it? They're getting over the gain line so many more times than Italy are.
Well, Italy have just held on to that one. back and away once again through Fedrighi. And they're going to come back for a knock-on.
Just explain the post-contact meters and why that's important. What it means is when the contact takes place, the tackle takes place, if you can stop your opposition right in situ, it means that the rest of the defensive line, which is behind the back foot, doesn't have to move anywhere. If they then go past there, all your defence is moving backwards. He either has to shuffle backwards or sometimes turn the shoulders and run backwards, in which case they can't see what's coming by way of an attack when you release the ball the second or third time, and it just compounds it. So although it doesn't seem much, just to move the ball 2-3 metres each time makes a very big difference in what you can do going forward and what a defence can do when they're static.
At the back there, Giordano, Stefan. It's been a quiet afternoon so far for Aramuzzo. Turani. Into the ball goes Maris. Actually had a spell at Worcester. We've got a breakaway here. Really nice play there by Scorbini. You feel she was saved on the bench by the coach Fabio Rasselli for exactly that reason. She is a brilliant player and can just see things, and she saw that try line was coming her way.
She has, but that's the second time England have been done in exactly the same way, not getting those players in behind the ruck. They've gone round the corner, you can see there, and it's just smart in it. Heads up, it'll be something that they will massively want to look into, building into that France game, but great identification and execution.
Well, funnily enough, in the World Cup games, that was one of the things that stood out, and they managed to close that down for the final.
Yes.
But it's reoccurring now, and they better close it down next week.
Well, that score for Italy is also a bonus point, so that's 2 weekends in a row now. England have given away bonus points to opposition. Wales got the try bonus, and now Italy have one as well. And that will annoy them, Katie.
Yeah, Sarah Hunter will be frustrated, you know, in charge of England's defence. And it's interesting because it's about intensity and work rate, isn't it? The reason that's happened is because England and players are working hard to get round the corner, similar to your point there around the impact post-going line meters has on defence. But what they're not doing is they're not assessing the situation, because ultimately the ball is the threat. So wherever the ball is, that's got to be your first point of call. And like you say, Sarah Hunter will be frustrated with that.
Sarah Hunter, the England defence coach. Plenty to think about. Of course, in round 5, England will be in Bordeaux, where they'll take on France. The ball is batted back down by Ellie Kildun. Batonci now playing scrum half for the Italians. And they found a lovely bit of grass back there. So much time for Emma Singh to kick that one away and force the Italians to return in kind. She's racing up into the face there of Medea. Passes the ball away. Ostuni Manuzzi, who scored an incredible try against Ireland back in round 2, covering nearly half the length of the field, but stopped in her tracks there. Kilda. Chasing her own ball. This is one of her specials. Oh, she's not quite going to get the bounce there. But it looks like Flo Robinson is. It's still going, Kildun. And she can't do that because she's off her feet there, and that will be annoying for Dinka. Alicia Dinka, she does ply her trade predominantly as a wing, but we've seen her a couple of times at 13, and she tends to have better games out on the wing. But again, both wingers for Italy just haven't seen the ball today.
They haven't, and they're so dangerous. I mentioned it in the first half. When Italy go well, it's generally because those three have connected. But if you're not getting any ball, you're not getting any possession, it becomes a really tough day at the office.
That's a loose line out from England. Have to track back all the way to that 22-metre line. Saracens fly half. Zoe Harrison there, just clearing the ball away, doing scrum half duties. Robinson. Just held on the floor there by Delaney Burns as she just composes the attack. Head on her debut, getting involved. Back inside to Packer. She's already got 3. She's still going! That is stunning if it's given. They might check it, but has Marley Packer just gone over for 4? The sheer determination deserves some form of reward.
Well, we'll see in slow motion. Looked to be a bit of separation for me, whether she regathered it. Needs to have possession of the ball, which means control. Yeah.
Marley Packer, just incredible numbers that she is racking up. What does she like to play against, Katie? It looks absolutely frightening.
Yeah, I think she's got better with age, you know, like a fine wine. I think she's playing to her strengths now. She knows where she can add impact, but she's also getting some lovely little touches. I think that one, just again, just at the line, not letting at least defence settle, just constantly changing it, and with her power and fair play her pace, she's finishing well.
Well, England there, they've tipped over the scoreboard into the 60s. They're a record that they have against Italy. They actually inflicted Italy's heaviest ever defeat back in 2022. That's where they won 74-0 out in Parma. Well, I don't think it's going to be quite that scoreline because Italy are hanging in there in the game. As we can just see Granzotto coming onto the field there. The Inca making her way off. Also a change at fly half there as Emma Stevenin comes on for Veronica Madia. Robinson did well there to get that ball away with the Italian between her legs. And there's space down here. As Kildan kept that in. Brilliant stuff. Ellie Kildan just always has the power to find space or just keep that ball in ways that other people just don't seem to manage to do. Spatial awareness is incredible. But at that breakdown, it's an Italian ball.
Well, the referee say sealing off on your feet. Quite often they use the analogy of an aeroplane landing or taking off in body position. It's a good touch find.
And there you go, on your screen there, Emma Stevenin. She started the game against Ireland, and there's a real tussle in Italy between Stevenin and Medea for that starting 10 jersey. Neither has really managed to nail it down. And Veronica Medea has her day. She can do some quite startling things, but occasionally she's just not consistent. Waiting at the back there, Bertonci, still only 20 years old. A lot of expectation on her shoulders to come through, as England have dealt with that rolling maul in stunning fashion. I could be wrong. Did Italy look a bit tired, Brian?
Well, it's understandable, isn't it? I mean, Head there doing a good destroying role, being allowed by the Italians to come through. The key to these driving mauls is you've got to seal them first.
Well, just seeing there that Demelza short was going off the field there. She didn't look too happy. And Claudia Maloney-McDonald has come on. So there's going to be a little bit of rearranging here. And we're keeping a very close eye as Christiana Balogun is on for her debut. So she's going to come on there on the flank. Also, Emma Singh has come off the field there. Holly Aitchison just slotting in. Can assume that Ellie Kildan is now at fullback.
Stay high.
Aitchison finds Jones. Kildunn. Oh, she fancies this Kildunn. Eventually, that is controlled by Granzotto. Bitonci. Italy want to keep this going, but that's forwards. And you have to say, all of that territory won comes down to Ellie Kildunn.
It does, but it's really interesting, and I don't know if we'll see the angles again. For me, this is where I want Ellie Kildunn to run straight. I want her to chase shoulders, the inside shoulder of that last defender, and to put Mia Venner away. All we see is sometimes she's got a lovely turn of pace in the arc, but she cuts a winger out, and it's the balance for me of Ellie Kildunn. Can you do the big stuff, the exciting stuff? Yes, the kick's great, but can you do the basics here? It's a great ball here. Meg Jones, nice and straight. Ellie Kildunn there. Just run at the shoulder of that last defender. Instead, she takes everybody with her. Great kick, but I think you can do the basics better.
By the shoulder, being the inside one to make a turn and keep her.
I wanted to go 2-on-1. I wanted to, like purists of rugby, run at the last defender, fix them and give. And sometimes for me, I think Ellie does a little bit too much with the ball and is looking for that magic moment when actually just do your basics well.
Well, both sides taking on water now, and you can completely understand why. 25 degrees in Parma as the England coaches look calm there, up in the box.
Do you think he's telling a joke?
Reminder that John Mitchell is 26 out of 26 wins since he has come on as Red Roses coach. Okay, so just a reminder that Scotland-France follows us here on BBC Two. That one coming up at 4 o'clock. And then, of course, Ireland against Wales is all across the BBC. Of course, you can find it on the iPlayer as well. And then next Sunday, it's not on Saturday, it is Sunday on BBC One. France against England in Bordeaux, as it's desperately sad scenes there to see Silvia Tarani in tears as she comes off the field. Silvia Tarani, not just an incredible rugby player, but an incredible ambassador for women's sport. If you have ever been anywhere near her, her personality is just so infectious.
It is, and she's so passionate about the game, you know, came over, plays it, Harlequins, and what she brings to this Italian side as well, that passion, that fearless. You saw at the beginning, tears rolling down her cheeks as she's singing the national anthem. A great credit to the sport.
Robinson manages to find Aitchison. Pushed ball out towards the side. Venner can't get that last pass away. She was in a real tight spot. And the referee is saying it's been knocked on there. If we just watch the replay. So it's Vittorio Ostuni Manuzzi who's just gone round the edge there and knocked it out of Mia Venner's hands. So it will be a scrum for England.
Well, it was well spotted, wasn't immediately apparent. Just in a welfare point of view with Tarani, you've got an injury to your leg there and being, you know, allowed to hobble off rather than supported off. You know, I think could have been handled better.
I think these stats are super interesting, aren't they? When you look at them, tackles made, not a lot, but the big difference is that missed tackles. You look at how dominant England have been in that score, but that 21 missed tackles, I think you touched on it the first half, Brian. At times Italy have been really, really soft in those collisions, and previous games so dominant. We just haven't seen that against this England pack, and to be fair, the England backs.
You see there, Hayley Head there at 8 at the base there of that scrum. Jones not able to take that one cleanly, but all backwards, so England can continue their attack as Chloe Robinson is caught there, but not held, and she's off. Showing her strength there, the extra scrum half, Meg Jones. Italy, they've been warned, and England have the penalty advantage. Maloney McDonald goes for the show and go, throws it back inside, they'll come back for the penalty. Italy offside.
Well, again, they're just watching off the ball, Flo Robinson doing a couple of things that weren't seen initially, weren't being seen in the flood of things, but putting her body on the line when she needs to, which I'm not saying is unusual for a scrum half, but was been notable with her since she came on.
Sat behind Natasha Hunt and Lucy Packer for a long time as that kind of third choice 9 here, and she fights well above her weight category. You know, Exeter Chief, been there a while, started it at Quins as well, so it's great to see. And look, it comes at a bad time for Natasha Hunt, but it's great to see her taking that opportunity.
Yeah, only a 4th cap today for Flo Robinson, taking her opportunity. Marley Packer's got 4. She knows where the try line is. They pick and go again through Sarah Byrne. Christiana Balogun there as well, offering her ballast. So close here, England. Hayley Head getting involved in there as well. Patience required by England. It's not coming. And they're saying England off their feet there.
Well, good defensive set from Italy again. Don't underestimate the degree of commitment and physical courage that's required to keep successive drives out from, let's face it, a much more dynamic and dominant England pack so far.
Say it quietly, England haven't actually scored for nearly 10 minutes, which is the quietest they have been in this whole fixture.
They have, and I think we've touched on it, you know, Italy's bench has definitely come on and made a bit of an impact. I think the temperatures that we're talking about coming into the last 10 minutes of the game, of both teams starting to look a bit tired as well. But for Italy, these are the victories that you want, you know. At some point they had to be able to stop England, and they're starting to do that.
Chiara Kelly is on a hooker. Only made her debut this Six Nations. Straight in. First thing she's asked to do there is throw in. Not an easy ask. Batonci box kicks that one to the halfway. Kill done. Maloney McDonald had to take that one into contact. Robinson. Zoe Harrison's nose, there's space. I think she wanted the 50-22, but she'll still take that.
Only just short, just by way of a reminder, if you kick the ball from your own half, it bounces within the field in the opponent's 22. You get the throw in, which is why it's such a clever move if you can pull it off, because not only that, it makes the wingers sometimes hang back, gives extra space out wide. It's a movement which, when it first came in, I had doubts about it, but it's been very successful.
Ball comes away for the Italians.
Use it.
They take a long time to set up what they want to do, and it just gives England so long to arrange and think about what they want to do as Maloney McDonald gets bundled out on the near side. And we're talking about the heat, and we heard Jess Breach talking there at half-time about how England have been preparing for this, about having extra saunas in particular during training. But Katie, I'm sure when you actually get out there and play in it, that's the only real experience.
I think it is, and I have played at this ground. It is warm, it holds the heat as well. The ground is hot, and it feels quite suffocating. So the work rate that these girls are putting in, especially as the tempo rises when the bench comes in, the likes of your Marley Packers, you know, your Zoe Harrison's, Ellie Kilton, that have gone 70 minutes, they will be starting to feel that now. So water breaks, moments when other players go down, you definitely are relishing those.
Well, we heard about the saunas. We do also understand that they turned up the heat in their indoor training barn as well, which they can do, which they do at Pennyhill Park in Bagshot. Prepare them as much as they can. Italy, of course, you'd think would be more used to the conditions. Batonci manages to find Manini. Good support flying in there by Granzotto. Through the guts of the park, they try and come again, but no space there for Kelly just to get over that gain line, and England are just absolutely ferocious in this defensive set right now. The captain Giordano is scanning the horizon, just trying to find every blade of grass that she can. Get her team moving forward. Fedrighi, Clano, lock. Still Italian ball, that's better. Over the gain line, quicker, picked and go. Bertonci can see space. It's gone out of play on the near side, but they've made ground.
You talked about Italy being used to the sunshine and the heat, which I think they will be. The difference will be the intensity. No team they will play, whether in league or in international rugby, will play like England do. And that, you know, you look at some of the faces there that are up for play of the match contenders there. The intensity that Marley Packer has brought with her 4 tries, Zoe Harrison with her kicking game, Burns and the Tui with their carry game. You can't match that regardless of the temperatures you're training in.
Well, the Tui and Burns there, who started in the second row. What they have been asked to do in this Six Nations, I don't think either of them would have expected before it started.
Not a chance. I think both of them were probably expecting to have a couple of beers and watch these girls go well in the sun.
They have done incredibly well. We sometimes try and call it a lock crisis that England have, but they just don't seem to do crises, the Red Roses. Not interested. The depth, the pathway, it's all too good so far. Ball comes away there to Powell, can't get that last connection. Italy, if they can get this ball, you can just see caught at the bottom of that is Burns. How did England win that one back? Italy will never know. And here comes Maloney McDonald. Couldn't get that final offload in the tackle.
Well, I can just see the difference on the floor there, and the desire for England and the tiring Italian team, who was more committed to making that ball theirs.
Especially with the position that Italy had there. But when you're playing against the world champions, world number ones, they can just do things in 80 minutes that other sides so far can't produce.
So that's exactly what John Mitchell and his coaching team will be looking for. Who in the 75th minute of a one game in these conditions is willing to commit themselves to that extent?
We have been told that 4,376 people have packed into Stadio Sergio Lafranchi. That's not the record they had 2 weeks ago when they took on Scotland, but still good numbers for the Italians nonetheless. They're not quite the established women's setup that we have seen from the likes of the home nations, as the captain, Elisa Giordano, she always leads from the front. Scorbini. In the mix of that, you can see Christiana Balogun slowing that ball down. No connection. Who has the ball? Hacked on there by England. Ostuni Manuzzi. Holly Aitchison is there to greet her. Flo Robinson as well. Connie Powell wants to get over the top. And after all of that, Italy find themselves just outside of their own 22. Just had to slow this ball down. They've had absolutely no choice whatsoever there, the Italians, because they know they needed to rearrange themselves. Everyone was at the other end of the field. Flying forward now goes Oromuzzo. Really caught up there around the shirt collar. Scorbini seems to have been absolutely everywhere since she's come on in this second half. Giordano again manages to make the connection there with Fedrighi. Manini, still Manini. Can she make this catch? She needed that last connection. Eventually, it comes in the form of the debutante Dossi. She was playing in the under-21s only a couple of weeks ago. She's finally got the call up, but it all ends. And an England knock-on. And look at Manini's face there. Oh, She is feeling the heat. Look at her go.
Sarah Byrne as well there. You've gone end to end, and as a front row, I'm sure you can testify, Brian, wasn't your favourite thing to do, eh?
Not go backwards, certainly.
Marley Packer is the Guinness Women's Six Nations Player of the Match. She will be absolutely thrilled with that. She got Player of the Match against Wales as well. But look at that, 4 tries, 14 carries, 92 metres made.
Well, there was never any other real serious contender, was there?
Credit to the second rows, but I think the determination on Marley Packer's face. I don't know who chose Player of the Match today, but I wouldn't mess with Marley.
No, I think you've also probably, if Lucy Packett doesn't come off early, she's in that mix, because I think she was instrumental in how England played. But like you say, Marley Packett just keeps reinventing herself. You know, didn't feature as much as she would have wanted in that World Cup. She got an opportunity against Wales. I gave her a Player of the Match today, but she did pay me. I'm not sure, maybe she's got brown envelopes out in Italy with her as well.
I mean, everyone concentrate on the 4 tries, and that's understandable. But you look at the other elements of her performance as well. She's been there and absent, she's been there and present round breakdowns, making tackles and so on. So it's not just been about the contribution going forward.
And let's not forget that Marley Packer is also a 2-time world champion as Granzotto breaks away. There are a few double world champions out there for England, but there's a lot of injuries right now to them. Natasha Hunt and Alex Matthews as well. Italy, 10 metres to go to the England line. They've never scored this many points against England ever before. Can they increase it? They've now got advantage as well. England accused of playing the ball on the ground in that last ruck. Sarah Byrne having to crawl out the way. That was a big pass out wide. England tried to get on it. It's still Italian ball. Granzotto wants it. Driving on. Another penalty advantage. Could someone be going to the bin? Fedrighi having to get that one away. You can just see the exhaustion out there right now. Italian penalty. Are they going to go quickly? Yes, they will. No. Come back through my marks, says the referee.
Well, I can understand that, but I can also understand the frustration from Italy because the referee wasn't getting to the mark quickly.
Well, Emma Stevenin is going to drop this one out. Only 30 seconds on the clock, but will this be an Italian finish to this fixture?
Well, if before the game you didn't know what a driving maul from a line-out was, you should know by now, because there have been several notable examples. And will this be yet another one?
Kelly, short towards the front. And look how many Italians are going to throw themselves at this. Burns is warned, but it doesn't matter. Italy go over again. They will not win this fixture, but they will be absolutely delighted with how many points they have put on England. And once again, it is Scorbini who goes over, who has been an absolute menace since she came on in the second half.
She has, and if there was any doubt about selection, she has definitely put her hand up to say, you should have started me. She's been absolutely everywhere, like you say, deserves a try. But this is probably a very respectable scoreline. Yes, you can say England have scored 61, but 31 points from Italy has been a very, very good outing, especially given how they started that first 20 minutes.
You just see their Scorbini shot out there. Made sure of that try. 5 now for the Italians. And Sillery lines this one up. The last action of the match. That one is through. England win. They will fight for the slam in Bordeaux next week. But Italy, despite losing, they will be delighted with their 5 tries and knowing that they are clawing ever closer to the standards that the Red Roses lay out on the field. Congratulations to both sides. Marley Packer there, the player of the match. 4 tries to her name this afternoon. No doubt both sides might even be looking forward to those ice baths. Full time, Italy 33, England 61.
So England march on to a potential Grand Slam decider in Bordeaux, winning it by 61 points to 31. But that's incredibly spirited performance from the hosts, Italy. That's then how it stands. England, no surprise to see them top of the table, played for, won for, maximum points. But for the second weekend in a row, their opposition come away with a bonus point, and England have leaked 9 tries in their last 2 matches. Don't forget, Scotland-France immediately follows us here on BBC Two, and a little bit later on iPlayer. Ireland take on Wales, which will complete this 4th round of the Six Nations Championship. Still here with Zoe Allcroft. I'm going to keep calling you Zoe Allcroft. Zoe Strafford, because she's married, and Ruby Tui. And Ruby, first of all, you know, that was incredibly spirited from Italy, because it looked like it was going to be one-way traffic in the sort of first 20 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. They came back, they changed their game plan from last week, which was really, really cool. And hey, you know, not only a bonus point, but the most points they've ever scored against England. So we were chatting in the studio, what does that mean? Is that England going down? But I just think it's a positive for the whole world, the women's game. To me, the most impressive thing, as well as Wales in the last round too, is the tactical knowledge of the teams. The other teams are just improving. You know, Wales got a couple of tries off the maul. Italy did the same thing, even in the last minute, and Italy looked out on their feet too. That is not easy to play England for 80 minutes, let me tell you. So the fact that they were exhausted out there, it was a hot day, and they still scoring those tries in the last couple of seconds of that game, pretty impressive.
OK, well, let's have a look at Italy's tries, because they've scored 5 of them, Zoe, and I don't know how Sarah Hunter, you know, England's sort of defence coach, what she'll be thinking. But, you know, how positive is this from Italy, given who they're playing against, the world champions?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly positive. I think recognising as well to change up their game. They obviously recognised that through the ruck was a way into attacking this England team, and so I think it's definitely like key to them, like recognising those types of things on the pitch as they're going. I'd say also, I think defensively, we saw it from last week against Wales. That's the second time we've had a bonus point score. So I think that's definitely something that we'll be working on. But also, I think, like, as devil's advocate, if we look at the attack that England are producing now, the offloads, the tips at the line, like, that's absolutely incredible. And I think in such a short period of time, you've got to grow one side of it, but maybe the other side is left behind a little bit. But it'll be definitely something that they want to work on as they go through into the next tournament and next week.
Yeah, now I know England are looking at their attack, and they are trying to evolve that. I don't imagine when John Mitchell started at the beginning of this tournament that he thought that Marley Packer would be the leading try scorer for England so far in this championship. She's got 7 after scoring 4 tries today. She is... You know, I think, Zoe, she would have been hurt by losing the captaincy previously, but how much has actually the fact that she's been freed up allowed her to focus on what she does best?
I think it kind of just shows how much she puts into that shirt. Like, I think she maybe had like a bit of time where she had a bit of reflection, and then coming out the other side, finding herself again and being able to put performances like that out onto the pitch is absolutely incredible. Like, she's come to life. Like, I've seen her in training, she's breaking the line, she's an absolutely fantastic player, but not only what she does on the pitch, but what she does for around the environment and pulling those younger girls up, fixing problems in the camp and making it a much better environment. So the value that she adds to the off-field stuff as much as she does to that on-field stuff as well is absolutely incredible.
And as England's World Cup winning captain, you will understand more than anybody what the demands of captaincy are. I mean, just give us an idea of what she would have been through in that position for England.
Yeah, I think it is a massive demand being captain, like, especially if you care a lot, like, you take a lot of the burden on yourself. You obviously deal a lot with the press, which has been a big thing that's come into the women's game, and you have to deal with that side of things. You're always, like, checking around the team, like, you want to make sure you're across everybody and trying to make it the best, especially as well when you go into win World Cups and you know that's the goal. Like, you want to make sure everything is fine-tuned. You're connecting with the coaches, you're connecting with the players, but also that outside media, the fans, and making sure that you're getting it right. So it does have a big burden on you, but you've also got to not let it lose yourself when you are playing.
Yeah, well, it seems to have freed up Marley Packer, doesn't it? Because for the second weekend in a row, she's been player of the match for England. We can hear from her now.
Marley Packer, the same place where you earned your 100th cap 2 years ago. 4 tries, the second ranked all-time try scorer for England on 58. Congratulations on that performance, player of the match.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, obviously it was amazing to come back here 2 years on from getting my 100, but you know, it's about making memories every time you come to a stadium, you wear this shirt, and today was one of those occasions again. Like, I take my hat off, the pack today were unreal. Like, all week we've been working hard at our set piece, and it came through today, and I was just, me and Amy Cocaine were the lucky ones that got to dot the ball down, but it was all their hard work that got those tries, so yeah, no, it's perfect. But yeah, it just seemed to get hotter and hotter here today.
I was going to say, what is it? Is it the heat that gets the best out of you? What's your secret weapon at the moment?
My secret weapon at the moment, I'm just enjoying it. I've got a smile back on my face, and I'm actually getting some good minutes, I guess. Like, obviously, the last couple of years, Sadia's got the nod over me, which, like, fair play, but like, I've got my opportunity at the moment, and I'm just enjoying it, and that's just what I want to do, play with a smile. There's no pressure. Maggie's obviously captain. I'm just here to support her, to support the leadership group, you know, to just be a part of this Red Roses and make every game and every moment we're together an enjoyable one.
But you guys have not had it easy, because the line-out shifts that you keep having to manage is unreal. You know, the scale of the amount of movement in who you are out there with.
Yeah.
What is it that secures the consistency with which you guys keep performing?
Hard work, like hard work. The girls are doing walkthroughs constantly. We had Heidi in Ala doing little walkthroughs, Des doing it with the backs, just talking them through in front of the lifts the other day, and I came out and seen them. And you know, people are putting the work on behind the scenes to make sure it's functioning come match day, and like, I take my hat off to all of them, because you know, whether you're A, B, C, D, E, F or G jumper at the moment, you've got to make sure you know all of them.
March on to Bordeaux.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the final round now?
Yeah, let's just recover from this, but like enjoy it. Like, you know, we've got France and the Six Nations Grand Slam decider, right? So yeah, it's going to be a tough week. We're preparing. Yeah, look forward to Bordeaux.
Well, I hope the sun shines on you yet again there. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I hope it's not so hot.
She's getting slightly ahead of herself, because France have got to beat Scotland first, but if they do, it is going to be a Grand Slam. Look, Marley Packer, Ruby, is 36. I mean, you're still a youngster by comparison.
Yeah, I'm only 21.
Maybe a comeback for you. When you see a player performing at that level like this, you know, does it tempt you?
Oh, look, let's give her a minute. Let's give her a moment. 4 tries, second top try scorer of all time for England, the only forward in the top 5. What I love about her performance today was not just the 4 tries. It's the basics of the game. Every time you carry, you fend. Every time you carry, you get a weak shoulder, you leg drive. That was the best performance of basics of a back row I've seen in a long time. When she gets over the try, she doesn't panic. Like she said, no pressure here, boom. Everyone's saying, did she get that ball down? Of course she got that ball down, because she's doing the basics excellently. And for me, you know, you guys talked about her, she's been through captaincy. She's also one world's greatest player. I think true greatness you see through adversity, and being, you know, not making the starting lineup, getting dropped from captaincy, true greatness for her to come back and have a performance like that.
OK, so England will travel home from Parma with 4 from 4. France likely to beat Scotland, we will see. How quickly within the England camp, Zoe, does the mindset shift towards next weekend, and what, you're going for the 8th title potentially in a row?
I think pretty much kind of as soon as you get in the change room, you get that recovery, which is the first part of it. I think a massive part of it is being able to celebrate this game, though, making sure that they acknowledge that and can do that. But yeah, definitely getting the recovery on straight away, and then leading into this week, getting the detail in to go ahead.
You've seen a lot of England, Ruby. What about France over the course of this championship?
Oh, look, France, oh, typical France, unpredictable, flair, offloads. You know, I think what sums them up as one of their greatest players, Pauline Bourdon-Sansus, against Ireland. 7-0 at half-time. She gets a yellow card in the first half, comes back, has the second half of her life. They win by 20 points, and she gets player of the match. So when it comes to France, you just cannot predict what they're going to end up doing, so it'll be a great game. Banger in Bordeaux.
Zoe, sitting here knowing that England are going for a Grand Slam, a potentially 8th title in a row, do you miss it?
I do miss it. I definitely do miss it. But also, I am like super happy with where I am. Like, I've chosen to be pregnant, so it's actually quite calm watching, and to be able to fan and like to be a fan and watch them do what they're doing now is absolutely incredible. So yeah, I feel chilled.
You looking forward to Bordeaux, Ruby?
She's lying, by the way. I was with her the first Six Nations. She was like, oh, when do the teams come? She was jumping out of her socks. So, absolutely looking forward to Bordeaux. I've never been to a Six Nations final, so if that happens, I'll be over the moon.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much to both of you. And I hope you do get to Bordeaux. I know you're thinking about it.
Come.
That's Ruby Tui and Zoe Strafford. Plenty to come this weekend on the BBC, including a bumper day, of course, of women's action in the Six Nations. Coming up shortly, as I mentioned, Scotland against France in Edinburgh. Later this evening, Ireland face Wales in Belfast. Viewers in Wales can watch that on BBC One, BBC Two in Northern Ireland, or on the BBC iPlayer. Next weekend, as we said, we'll be in Bordeaux for what is likely to be the championship decider between France and England. So just to mark for your diaries, coverage begins at 4:20. So England go for a Grand Slam in Bordeaux next weekend. What chances of Marley Packer scoring in the process? Very, very likely. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Deep breaths all round as they get ready to go. Marley Packer, 115 caps, 56 tries. Helena Rowland on her 50th cap. There goes Venner, Nia Venner. That's too easy for Amy Cocaine. And she goes over for her second try. She knows where that try line is. Packer, she's still going. Italy go over again. England win.